And we're live, just like that. Hey guys, I'm Melody from Wherever I May Roam blog, and I'm coming to you live tonight for the debut episode of The Roam Report. The Roam Report because, I am Wherever I May Roam, a Metallica song, mind you. I've been a content creator and in the digital space for almost 12 years. So we are off with this monthly recap live Instagram series that I want to roll out. So for January, of course, our debut episode is going to be about December travels. So it's the Christmas edition because I did a lot of Christmas travel this year, last year, and the year before. Have you been anywhere to travel for a Christmas activity or anything? Like, it's just super cool. And I love that everywhere you go, it's just something different. People are just happy and all the twinkling lights and everything, which behind me, behind this curtain, are twinkling lights in the yard. And it looks so beautiful, but it wasn't very good vibe for the camera. So anyway, I am currently in St. Augustine. I live in Mesquite, Nevada. I'm originally from West Virginia. That's probably like a little bit to know about me. But tonight we're going to talk about, in this Christmas edition, we're going to talk about, let me get my little handy dandy notes. We're going to talk about Disney parks and SeaWorld, Deck the Chairs in Jacksonville Beach, Night of Lights in St. Augustine, which I'm sure you've heard of that one. It's enormous. And Holly Jolly Jekyll, which may surprise you. So let's just kick off with Disney. I have an annual pass for Disney, so my family goes a lot. My family kind of like bleeds Disney. They love it a lot more than I do, but I'm curious, what's your favorite Disney park? Can you drop me a message below? Because I would just love to hear what your favorite park is. Mine will always probably be Epcot. Animal Kingdom's a close second. So on this particular trip, we went to Animal Kingdom, and luckily for us, my granddaughter's crazy about Zootopia 2. So they have like all this great Zootopia 2 stuff. They have a 3D show that replaced It's Tough to Be a Bug, or whatever that one was called. And then Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are there, the characters, so you can like have a meet and greet. I waited 45 minutes. Thanks, Susan. I hear you. So thanks, Taylor, Jack's homeschool mom. So I waited 45 minutes in line to get my picture made with Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. That does not normally happen. I love a good character experience, but that's a really long time with, at 56 years old and with the bad back and all that sort of thing. But Animal Kingdom was super fun. They have, all of the Disney parks have a holiday menu. So they have like really cool food and drinks. They have great souvenirs. But other than that, the big tree out in front of Animal Kingdom, I thought was about one of the only special things they had. Now, Minnie and Mickey are dressed like Santa and Mrs. Claus, but you have to, either get a lightning lane to do that or wait in line or whatever. We did not do that on this particular trip. But Animal Kingdom, I've been there a lot of times. We did do the lightning lane. We got lucky because Taylor, my daughter, watched it every couple hours or whatever. And so for $21, we were able to score a 3-pack, I think it is. So we could do the Avatar rides. I was really dying to do those rides. So we did get to do them for $21. That's in addition to your ticket and parking and so forth. So we didn't spend the whole day at Animal Kingdom. We went to Hollywood Studios as well. And if you are anything like me, I think that Hollywood Studios just takes a couple hours at best. But I will tell you, it was so beautiful, especially of the evening. It was all decked out for Christmas, and Bay Lake was especially beautiful with an enormous tree full of lights, and even Gertie, the dinosaur, had the Santa hat on and everything. So that was really cool. And let's see. Okay, then there's the food and drinks. That was particularly fantastic. Hollywood Studios always looks awesome. And I'm going to try something new because I just maybe learned this today. Let's see if I can figure it out now. That is not it. Well, let's see right here. Okay, here we go. So here we are at Hollywood Studios. There's that tree I was telling you about, how beautiful. And there's Gertie with all the lights and everything. It was just so cool. But Hollywood Studios went with a retro theme this year. So like my husband's grandmother had these little trio of angels, like little ceramic pieces of angels or nutcrackers or little squirrels with Santa hats on or something, whatever it was. But Hollywood Studios actually had a 3-pack of these vintage decorations all over the park. I saw 4 sets of them, and it was just really cool. So let's see if I can find another picture I'll show you. Here's that tree at Animal Kingdom. I mean, that's a really pretty tree, but there's just not all that much at Animal Kingdom besides that. Okay, now, in addition to that, the coolest thing at Hollywood Studios is this. They turned the Tower of Terror into, I have to look at my notes here, because it is called Sunset Seasons Greetings. And it is just this cool show. And this was, of course, right before it got totally dark. But the show is spectacular. And I'm not sure how long the show lasts, but it was just really nice. The music was great and everything. I've done a show like this at French Lick Resort in Indiana, in French Lick, Indiana. And that one was like really supreme. They have a whole bunch of different shows. But anyway, the Tower of Terror was a really nice addition. So if you have an annual pass or a park hopper, I definitely recommend going to Hollywood Studios of the evening because, you know, all that Hollywood glam and all the neon lights really look good at night. So let's move on. So SeaWorld. Have you been to SeaWorld? I'd love to know. If you've been to SeaWorld, can you drop me some sort of animal like in the comments? I had not been to SeaWorld until about 4 years ago. I went to SeaWorld Orlando and I was just blown away. The park is spectacular. And then I went to SeaWorld in San Antonio, another great one. I was there for a food festival. So my granddaughter and I went for Media Day at SeaWorld to roll out the Christmas activities. Let me show you a picture of that. So here is SeaWorld. I'm new to this. Please give me a little break here. Okay, here we go. So SeaWorld has these really cool elves and they go all over the park just spreading joy and creating lots of like chaos and everything. They're super fun and they're very interactive, and no matter where I walked in the park, I kept seeing them. So that was really neat. Hey Pam, hey Eddie, hey Susan. So anyway, the elves were really nice. Santa made several appearances throughout the park. There's, again, lots of great merchandise. Like, I think better merchandise at SeaWorld than at Disney. Shoot me for saying that, right? And then they also have the special food for the holiday seasons. So one thing really special about SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, because, you know, they're both the same company, as well as Discovery Cove and whatever the water park is that I haven't been to, right by SeaWorld. Anyway, one thing special they do is they have a lanyard, and you buy this lanyard at a discount price. So I'm just going to say $40, and $40 may get you 8 punches. Don't quote me on this. I'm just, you know, spitballing this. So the lanyard gets you maybe 8 punches at $40. So meaning that each item is $5. Well, when you go to each of these little kiosks or houses, say there's 21 of them and they all have a different theme. The drinks, they also have alcoholic drinks. The drinks and food might range from $3.50 an item to $11.50 an item. There's huge range there, but each punch is good for one item. So you'll end up paying $5 for any item you want. So you can really make out, that's a really good way to budget your trip because you can have like the best of everything they have for a discounted price. And it was no different at SeaWorld. So they actually rolled out all the holiday food for us. They had cranberry glazed meatballs and beignets. The beignets were really delicious. Turkey and dressing, all that sort of thing. Let me see if I can find one more picture of SeaWorld to show you. But anyway, it was just super fun. And I think that a lot of people forget about that park. It just gets overshadowed by Disney. And really, it's a really superb park. We saw a killer whale show that was super fun. Here's a picture of the Nutcrackers. So over in the Sesame Street land, Elmo and Cookie Monster, huge, larger than life, were dressed as Nutcrackers. Thought that was super cute. Who's your favorite Sesame Street character? I'll always be Bert and Ernie fans. So Oscar the Grouch is kind of fun too. Let me show you one other picture from SeaWorld. I didn't grow up going to SeaWorld. This is the waterfront there. And they have a killer whale show, and the whale show is fantastic. It kind of overlooks this. And if you look at my blog, whereverImayroamblog.com, you'll see some articles about SeaWorld and some tips and so forth, as well as Disney parks. But around this lake right here, they had what they called Seas of Memories. Seas meaning that's the sea right there. Seas of Memories. And so these trees had different themes. So like for the 80s, it had like 1980s toys, and for the 90s and so forth. So I just thought it was super cute. A bonus, there were a lot of trees to look at there. I would say probably 60. That's just guessing. So another food item was Jingle Tachos. Like, you can do anything with tater tots and make them nachos, and I'm going to buy it. You know, Jingle Tachos, they were fantastic. There was also like a Mrs. Claus show, lots of good things. And Rudolph is there. Yo, Rudolph and all his friends are at SeaWorld. So I didn't go for the meet and greet this visit, but I did at Busch Gardens the first time I went that Rudolph was there. I had my youngest daughter, Peyton, with me. And to this day, Peyton will say she has very rarely ever seen me so excited as when I saw Rudolph. So who's a Rudolph fan? Raise your hand. So let's move on. Let's move on to Deck the Chairs at Jacksonville Beach. So Deck the Chairs is an event that is put on, it's an arts organization that puts it on to promote children in the arts and the art education. And what they do is they decorate lifeguard chairs. So my first time at Deck the Chairs, let me show you a little picture, was about 8 years ago, and I really loved it. It's a free opportunity, and you know, who doesn't love free, by all means. So here's one of the chairs. Let's say there were probably, if I were guessing, 60 chairs or so, and it's free. It's about double the size as it was the first time I went there, but you just roam around and see them whenever you want. They're prettier at night, but you can see them of the day. They have music playing. They also have live music sometimes, and I know they've had a DJ, so they have some special nights, but for the most part, you just go park your car, walk over to the lot, see the beautiful trees. Publix is a sponsor, as well as Jacksonville Zoo. So I really love both of those displays. And plus, you know, who doesn't love Publix? So anyway, the Deck the Chairs event. If you're going to Deck the Chairs, here's just a little tip. We had dinner at Hoptinger. Hoptinger is a brewery in downtown Jacksonville, and they have great gourmet burgers, lots of good appetizers, fish and chips, so forth. So we met some friends, took my granddaughter. So it's a family-friendly brewery. And we parked at the lot adjacent. They will stamp your parking receipt so that you park for free if you're going to Hoptinger. Then we just took a few minutes strolling around at the Deck the Chairs. There's also a souvenir shop there. I want to say it's called Beachside. That is one of the best beach souvenir shops I've ever seen. And when you walk in the door, you're going to see all the cheesy beach stuff. Don't stop there. Keep on going, because in the back is like the treasure trove. They have really good t-shirts. They have really good sweatshirts, hoodies. What was the brand I got, Scarlett? All the beachy brands, like a lot of them I've seen in Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana and so forth. They have those brands, and they were great prices. Anyway, spectacular gifts. So Jacksonville Beach, there's also a great coffee shop down there. And again, free activity. So while I mentioned the Jacksonville Zoo, we're just going to move over here and talk about Jacksonville Zoo for a second. I've heard about the Jacksonville Zoo, but I'd never been there, and I've been to a lot of zoos. So I was so excited to go. So on my particular visit, I did the zoo and the Colors of the Wild Asian Lantern Festival. That's a mouthful. Anyway, as you can see here, this is just like one of the boardwalks that connects part of the zoo property, and just all these beautiful lanterns everywhere. That is my son-in-law and granddaughter right there walking through. Let me go to one more picture, and then I'm going to tell you more about the Jacksonville Zoo. Oh, here's another really pretty one. So this is kind of what the lanterns look like. But if you buy a ticket for Colors of the Wild, you can get in the zoo at 3 o'clock, so you have plenty of daylight time to explore the zoo. It's a really good zoo, too. But this Asian Lantern Festival is spectacular. And I love that it's festive, but it's not Christmassy. So thanks, Susan. Yeah. So you can go do this. I think it lasts through mid-February or so. So it is festive and fun and kind of wintry, has some wintry components to it. But also, it's non-Christmassy, so it's appealing for anyone, and it lasts for months. So anyway, definitely go there. I will say the food is a bit pricey, but it was really good food. I didn't know we were going to eat there. And my granddaughter, of course, you know, I'm hungry. So $40 later, we both have a meal, but it was like a really good meal. So I was pleased that it at least turned out good. So just to give you an idea, some of the lanterns, they have like an underwater menagerie, any kind of underwater animal you can think of is there, as well as like jaguar, because you know, Jacksonville Jaguars, sharks, flamingos, a roadrunner. You know, I live in the desert, so I was so excited to see the roadrunner there. Buffalo, just like anything you can think of. But it was just a really, really fun time. And in the very back of the park, there's one area that's kind of, they sell some crafts or kind of like Asian market trinkets when you walk through the area, and then there's like hands-on things for kids to do, those huge swings that light up and interactive things, kind of like, I don't know, high-tech games and things. They even have like those bikes that you ride the bikes and then things power on and everything. So lots of like family fun in the back part of the zoo. I'm pretty sure that the Jacksonville Zoo has free parking as well, so that's another plus. Anything you can get free, you know, like come on, 2026 free is for me. Okay, so let's move on to the Night of Lights in St. Augustine. Okay, hang on just one second. Oh, just let me show you that one picture. Let's just go back to Hollywood Studios. Isn't that just beautiful? Like, it's just beautiful all the time. Love Hollywood Studios, just to take pictures. Okay, so now we're going to be in St. Augustine for Night of Lights. So this is the best place in all of St. Augustine. Just bookmark this place right here. So whenever you come next year and the year after, you will know that Casablanca Inn which has, what is the place called? It's called, I had it written down here. It's on Bayfront. Oh, it's called Nero's Waterfront Cafe. That's what you're seeing right here. That is the restaurant at the Casablanca Inn, and they have the gas lanterns, and it is always packed. It has outdoor seating and indoor, but it is the hot spot as far as like the beautiful place to be seen because you're just surrounded with all the decorations, and it's beautiful. So this is just right down the street from the fort. That whole street is called Bayfront, and that whole area is decorated as well as Constitution Square. Now, one thing my daughter pointed out to me, and I had forgotten this, is that all the lights in St. Augustine are white lights. So wouldn't it be cool if they just left them out all year long? But anyway, so let's talk about Night of Lights. Nights of Lights. Okay, so two standouts, again, right here, the Casablanca Inn, and also the Hilton that is at the historic Bayfront Hilton. They have what's called Whoville. So they have all this great Dr. Seuss stuff, tons and tons of decorations, just a really fun whole area there. So whether you're staying there or not, you can still walk up and enjoy all of that. So it was super cool. But let me give you a little rundown of St. Augustine. The traffic is hell. I'm not going to lie. The traffic is absolute hell. And they keep trying to make it better. I'm not sure they do, though. So we've been going to this for a few years, and it is $40 to park in the parking garage. Some nights you might have to wait. You could probably wait an hour to get in the parking garage. And the parking garage is a great location, and I do commend St. Augustine on the fact that there are public restrooms. There's one right near the parking garage, and then there's one on two on St. George Street, the pedestrian-only street. So that's important to know. But if you want to ride the trolley, so the trolley is based on how busy it is, and during peak time, and I'm not even talking a weekend, but a peak time, regular night, it is $90 for a row. So you buy a row on the trolley, and you can fit up to 4 people on it. At my size, we could not have 4 of me in a row. So it is a bit pricey. But they have 3 million lights in St. Augustine. It is America's oldest city. It is, Florida's historic coast. It's beautiful, and there's lots of great things to do. But you better have a reservation for dinner. And here's why I tell you that. So there's a couple places in St. Augustine that I really like to go, and one is this pizza place that's just like not on a main street, and that pizza place is so, like, it has these slices of pizza in the window, and I'm like salivating every time I go by there. It has a huge dollops of ricotta cheese on the pizza, it just looks fantastic. So the line outside of there, 2 times we've been down there, and I would say once the line probably had more than 100 people in it, and another time it probably had 40. It's cash only. And it is just packed. And then there's very little seating inside, so you have to have somewhere to sit. So make a reservation and go to your reserved spot at dinner. And if you're going to Harry's, you better go at lunchtime, because Harry's is like crazy off the charts busy. We went there for lunch on, was it on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? We went on New Year's Eve, and it was so busy, but you can take your dog there. St. Augustine is somewhat pet friendly, so you can take your dog. So we have little Dexter, that's my King Charles Cavalier, in his little stroller, because he's a stroller dog. We go to casinos, and he likes to go too. So anyway, there were a lot of dogs at Harry's. So anyway, I appreciated that. Okay, St. Augustine, anything else? Nights of Lights last for several weeks. I think it still has another week to go right now. I was driving up through St. Augustine yesterday from a state park in Florida, and it rerouted me like 30 minutes out of the way because the line of traffic on US 1 is so great during that. So anyway, that's just how serious the traffic is there. Okay, let me see if I have one more picture of Nights of Lights to show you. Maybe I do. Oh yeah, here's one. And here's Dexty as we speak. So that's the Lightner Museum. If you ever looking for a great art museum to go to, I highly recommend the Lightner. It's beautiful. It used to be a historic hotel. It's one of Henry Flagler's properties, and probably one of the things you see most whenever you see a picture of St. Augustine. I'm getting to know all the restaurants in St. Augustine and coffee shops and so forth, so I'm finding some good things. So stay tuned on the blog, whereverimay.roam.blog.com, so that you can check those out. Okay, now we're going to move on. I think that's all I wanted to tell you about that. Now we're moving on to Georgia. We're leaving the Sunshine State, and we're headed up to Georgia. And let me just give you a nice little beach picture. How's that? So Georgia has the Golden Isles, and that consists of Sea Island, Little St. Simon's Island, Brunswick, which is a port city, and Jekyll Island. So Jekyll Island is where the millionaires used to winter years ago, 100 years ago, the men who made America. So we're talking the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Pulitzers, the Goodyears, and so forth. There's so many big names there at Jekyll Island. So it is actually part of a state park. I did not know that. So when you come onto the island, you're going to pay $10 no matter what. Some nights it's $15 depending on how crowded it is. But Jekyll Island is a place you can go on vacation, so it's not just a park to go hang out in. Have you heard of Jekyll Island? I'd love to know. Drop me a palm tree if you've heard of Jekyll Island. I learned about Jekyll Island from my old boss, Kim Jones, when I worked at Caskey in West Virginia. So anyway, I've been to Jekyll Island a few times. I've never stayed there until this past trip. We took a multi-gen trip and we stayed at the Westin Jekyll Island, which was pet friendly. It was a fantastic hotel. I would give it a 10 out of 10 on every account. The room was super comfortable. We had adjoining rooms, lots of plug-ins. It had a Starbucks, a proper Starbucks coffee shop there, 2 restaurants, Willett's Low Country, which we ate there. But anyway, it was fantastic. It's also right beside the beach village, which is kind of like the center point of the beach area. There are restaurants and shops around there. Our hotel also they charge a fee because it's a resort. So after you pay the fee, let's say $30 or $40, whatever the resort fee is, you do get free parking, free Wi-Fi, and complimentary bike rental. There might be one other thing I'm missing, but the bike rental, these are not like bikes that they've collected over 30 years and they're just sitting there rusted out like some places I've stayed try to give me. These are like really nice, great bikes, pumped up, super clean. They'll give you a basket if you want. So I rode a little bit around the island. It had been a while since I've been on a bike. When I lived in Florida, I was always on a bike. And in Nevada, I live at the top of a hill and you go straight down the hill. So yeah, I'm not riding the bike. Anyway, it was just really nice to be on the bike. And it was not very busy. So Holly Jolly Jekyll is Jekyll Island's Christmas festivities. And it lasts for a couple of weeks. They have certain things that are special. They have a couple of nights of fireworks. They have one special Saturday that's called Merry Fishmas, which we were there to participate in. And at this particular event, Santa and Mrs. Claus are there. There's free cookies, cupcakes, some drinks, just lots of fun things right in front of the waterfront. And they pass out Zebco is that what it's called? Zebco fishing poles to the first 400 children. It's sponsored by Kids Can Fish, I think is how it is. That's an organization. And then Zebco, that's one of their other sponsors. So 400 kids, including my granddaughter, got a Zebco fishing pole. How cool is that? That they really want kids to learn how to fish. And just think, if you know how to fish, you can go fish and catch your dinner and maybe it's free. So anyway, I need to learn how to fish, but I'm real squeamish, so I don't want to touch that fish. Okay. You can learn about all these activities on my Instagram, and you can also see, I just posted an article about laid back Jekyll Island vacation or multi-gen vacation. Let me find another picture of Jekyll Island for you. Bear with me just a minute. Here we go. Okay, so we stayed at the Westin Jekyll Island. What you're looking at right now is the Jekyll Island Club Hotel Resort. This was the epicenter of where all the millionaires lived. And all the homes around this property are their homes. So some of them are residential homes now, and some of them are just on display. But if you come over here to, Susan's been there. Yay. Okay. So if you come to Jekyll Island, you can do a tour any time of year. You can do a history tour, and there's multiple ways you can take that tour. But on this particular time when we went for the Christmas festivities, we did a lights tour. They talked some about the history, but mostly about the lights and so forth. You can go in this vintage automobile right here. You can take a tour in that vintage automobile. It was sold out while I was there. There's also horse-drawn carriages. I mean, it's so beautiful. It's like the Hallmark movie. This town literally looks like a Hallmark movie. And it's colorful lights. 2 million colorful lights. St. Augustine, 9 million people from all over the world. Super busy, chaos. 3 million lights. 2 million lights, Jekyll Island. Little place, not a lot of people know about. Crowd control was fantastic, not very congested. From our hotel to this point right here, it was probably a 5-minute drive, and it may have taken us 9 or 10 to get there and get parked. So anyway, consider that whenever you're planning your Christmas festivities for next year. So Jekyll Island, this is the one destination that really surprised me because I'd never stayed there. I wasn't expecting the Christmas festivities to be so good. And even my daughter agreed that it's really, really spectacular. It's a really special place and it's super pet friendly. So if you're looking for a pet friendly destination, the beaches are pet friendly. I went for a walk on the beach with my dog and I only passed 2 people in probably the 40 minutes that I was out there. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Janet, it's pretty cool to only see 2 people on a beach. The beaches are huge. They're so spacious and wide, and it's just a really beautiful place. So let me tell you some other Christmas festivities. They have this mini golf, which we didn't do. I think we forgot about it. But they have a mini golf that's very decorated for Christmas. So it has gingerbread figurine people everywhere and gumdrops and lots of lights and all that. Then they have movies on the lawn at this particular property, Jekyll Island Club Resort. And also something special that my granddaughter and I did here was called Holiday High Tea. Now, it was a pricey little spend. I think it's $60 a person. But it was so spectacular. It was a 4-course afternoon tea. In fact, I've done quite a few afternoon teas in 2025. So I rank that as a really good year. But anyway, Holiday High Tea, 4 courses. It started with the scone, and I was like really surprised because usually that's not my first course. And anyway, they had these really great pastries and really great little bites, like little meatball or chicken salad and things like this. Just really, really good food. 5 different kinds of tea to try. We had live musicians, somebody playing a cello and a violin, which was really nice touch. Then they gave us a little collectible ornament, a yay big ornament for our tree that had it was clear, like I think it was lucite, and then it had like a teacup on it. But anyway, it was just super, super nice, really beautiful menus printed up and everything. So definitely, if you're looking for an afternoon tea, consider this Holiday High Tea at the Jekyll Island Club Resort. They also have afternoon tea other times, not just for the holidays. Okay, so when I was telling you about seeing the lights, there's 2 million lights on this little tiny island. And I wish I'd looked up the size of Jekyll Island for you just to let you know, because it's a small island. But what I can tell you is there are 2 million lights there. So there were clusters of lights everywhere. And there are huge live oak trees, like enormous, that have been there for 100 years or more. And they are all decked out in lights. And these particular trees are decked out in white lights. So let's see if I have a picture of one of those. Because it's just stunning. I may not have a picture of that. Yeah, boo. Didn't take a picture of that one. Let's just go back to that beach setting for a second. Okay, so what else about Jekyll Island? So also Jekyll Island, you're 30 minutes from St. Simon's Island, another one of the islands over at the Golden Isles. And St. Simon's is much more tourist, I guess you would say, but there's a lot more shopping. There's a lot more restaurants. And so definitely, do yourself a favor and go over to St. Simon as well. There's a great bookshop at Redfern Village. My daughter and I went to, so that was really cool. And then there's also more lights on the main tree than on the Rockefeller tree. That was one of the things that our guide told us. The Rockefeller Center tree, there's more lights on the tree at that property I showed you than on the Rockefeller tree. So anyway, that was our trip to Jekyll. I got to switch papers right here. Remember, here's my handy dandy notes. The Georgia Sea Turtle Center. Definitely go there. Really, really fantastic. Have you been to a center where they rehab or save animals? Like sea turtles is such a big deal in this area. I lived in Vero Beach for 10 years, South Florida. And so I already know this, but you may not know this. When you go to Jekyll Island, it's going to be super, super, super dark. Take a flashlight or use your phone to see the way around because there's no lights because it disturbs the sea turtles. So when you're walking to the pier to go to a restaurant, it's going to be pitch dark. And that's why. It's not that they didn't pay their power bill or anything like that. They're protecting the sea turtles. And sea turtles have more rights than we do, I promise you. We've lived through it. I didn't expect Jekyll Island to be so awesome for this Holly Jolly Jekyll, I will say. I think they need a lot more advertisement, but it is a really great thing to see. And back to the sea turtle comment, if you are in Florida and you're looking for a sea turtle place to check out, I will recommend 2 of them. One is at Juno Beach. It's the Loggerhead Marine Life Center. It just had a whole facelift since I've been there, but it was really fantastic. And then the Turtle Hospital down at the Florida Keys in Marathon, that's another really good one to check out. My granddaughter was super interested in this. She's 7. I wasn't sure that would really appeal to her, besides the gift shop and, some of they had a doctor on site, and he was like doing some kind of something to the turtle, and it was doing something with its mouth and its nose and everything. She was like really interested in that. But they have tanks out back, like outside. There's a covered area with the tanks of the turtles being rehabbed, their story, what happened to them, their names, and so forth. Okay, moving on. The last thing I want to talk about, or for now, is the Dickens on Center. So let me find a little picture of that. So this is a wish tree. Here's my granddaughter writing her wish to put on the wish tree. So, Amelia Island. Have you heard of Amelia Island? It is one of the first places you run into when you head south on 95 when you get into Florida. So, on Amelia Island is historic Fernandina Beach. It is a beautiful historic area. I recommend you go there anytime, not just during Christmas. It's a super cool place. A lot of people don't know about. But Dickens on Center, a Victorian 3-day Christmas celebration. It's fantastic, y'all. I'm just telling you, really fantastic. My family went last year, and it was raining the whole time, so hard to enjoy, when it's raining, and all these poor vendors, they spent their time and money and effort to get there, and then they're just getting rained on. I hated it. But this year it was primo. So my family and I, we were coming home from Jekyll Island, and we were driving right by there. So of course we stopped and browsed around a bit. We didn't get there until like 1 o'clock on Sunday. I think it's over probably around 5. So I will tell you, a lot of the vendors had marked down their things, say baked goods were buy one, get one free, or there were some sales and things. So like if you want to save money, that might be the time to go. But the Amelia Island website has a whole thing about Dickens on Center, which I had not looked at before. So I noted for myself when making these notes for this live video, the Rome report, that I want to study that next year and do some of the activities, because there are oodles of activities. I knew that there were live shows. We've seen those, witnessed those. There's musical performances and theater performances, but there's also like 100 vendors, and they're from all over the place, not just local. There was chalk art. There are balloon displays all over the place, and marquee letter sections that tell you, because on the map it lists like what the street name is as to what's there, such as Artist Alley, Tiny Tim's, Oliver's Eats, Peddler's Village. Peddler's Village is the main drag, which is Center Street in Fernandina. So these beautiful marquee lights with all these, those big decorative balloon arrangements and everything. It was super nice. But I will tell you something funny. There was a guy there doing, thank you, Janet, it's 5,900 acres, Jekyll Island. So there was a guy doing balloon art there, and he was making like the balloon animals and everything. My kids used to love that, and my granddaughter loved it too. So she gets this balloon animal, and we go to this place just to grab a bite, and there's a little patio area out back. So I'm sitting there waiting with her. She's playing on the play equipment, as well as some other kids are at that playground. My daughter's inside getting some food, and all of a sudden somebody's balloon busts, and it is so loud, and kid starts crying. Then my granddaughter's balloon bust, and like all these balloons just kept busting. And I guess it was from like the friction or something, because it wasn't like they were pressing on them or anything. They were just busting. So anyway, we get in line to get another balloon animal made, and the line's kind of long. And anyway, the balloons are just popping like crazy as he's making them. So I don't know what the heck happened, but anyway, the balloon animals were out. But anyway, it sounded like a good idea. So, again, what I would do differently when I go to Dickens on Center next time is I'm going to study that map and see all the activities, because there's fireworks, I think. There's lots of different, there's a pet parade. I think it's called Paws on Parade. There's also another, like Santa comes to town, and just a lot of really cool things. But you'll always see costumed characters out and about. I would say I probably saw 150 this time. And I wasn't really looking. I had the dog in his stroller, and, we were just kind of busy. But anyway, lots of really cool things there. So if you're looking for a unique Christmas activity, Dickens on Center is going to be it. So this live monthly recap kind of takes over. I did a series called The Good, the Bad, and the Pretty on Facebook. I did 100 episodes every Monday evening. And it was really fun because I learned how to speak on camera a little bit better, connected with some people, shared some tips. It was just really fun, I think, for both parts. I actually won an award at the Midwest Travel Conference for it. So, shout out to that. But anyway, so this new series will replace that series. It's going to be once a month, but there will be a few special features because I've been doing this a long time and I travel hundreds of days a year. So I have lots of content and I want to share it with you. But anyway, so just to let you know, I'm hanging out in St. Augustine right now, Jacksonville, Amelia Island. I was in Jacksonville. We got to go to a Jags game, Jags and Colts game. Let's give you a picture. Do I have a picture of that? It was pouring the rain. It was like one of those real, oh, here's the balloon things I was talking about. And the marquee. Look at that, how cute. Super sweet. Okay, let's see if do I have a Jags picture here? I do. And here I am because I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And my game comes on in 25 minutes. Who are you cheering for this year? So since I'm in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and the Jags are just clinched the division, it was pretty cool to be at this game and be here to like support Duval. Anyway, I'm learning. But anyway, that was the first professional football game I've been to in a while. And they won, so I was really happy about that. But anyway, so December was a really fun month. January is a really fun month. Did we see Jonas Brothers in December? Also went back to Daly's Place, which is at Everbank Stadium. Those are now closed, I think, or after this game. They're kind of closed because they're getting renovated. But Daly's Place, my daughter and granddaughter and I saw the Jonas Brothers a few nights ago. I knew 3 songs, I think. But anyway, it was super fun. She scored discounted tickets, and all of the seats were really good. So anyway, that was super fun. It was just nice to be outdoors at a concert in January, or in December, because it was December 30th, I think. So that was pretty cool. Jacksonville, they rolled out last month a fitness park. It's called River's Edge Park at South Bank. And it is just super cool. There's also a kids area and everything, but it's brand new. They have really swanky porta potty, those like hotty toddy potties or whatever you want to call them. So anyway, that was something new that I've seen in Jacksonville. Anyway, it's just been fun. I've just been seeing all kinds of new things and doing all kinds of new things. So I think this is about to be my home. I am relocating from Nevada to Florida, and I'm not sure where I'll end up yet, but right now Jacksonville and St. Augustine are the beat. So that's pretty fun. Where are you headed to next? What are your vacation plans for 2026? Do you have anything on the books yet? I don't have anything really for fun. I only have like some obligations, some conference things and stuff like that, which is always a fun time, but just not like vacation. But I'm hoping to get into some cruises. It's been a while since I cruised, and I'm anxious for that. I have a couple friends on a cruise right now, and one that's leaving tomorrow and one that's leaving the next day, so I'm a little bit sore about that. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on the first Rome Report, and I hope to see you next month. And I'm going to be going to Vegas coming up very soon, so next month's edition will probably be very Vegas-centric. So I'll have all of the scoop for you. You all take care. Bye-bye.